All right, guys, we are back again with the Miller Park Minute, where we're throwing strikes, getting likes, hitting dingers, getting listeners. We have a very special guest on today, a former Milwaukee radio host. I guess you currently still are on the radio.
Not in Milwaukee technically, but also sometimes you can call me a CBS Sports fill-in host nationally. So
National fill-in host for CBS Sports,
yeah, there we go.
former Milwaukee radio host, Bart Winkler, Fond du Lac native.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Bart today to kind of just run some stuff by him and get his takes on where we sit. Yesterday's episode, we talked a lot about the negativity that they're swirling us into as Brewers fans. So my question for you, Bart, is what was the most egregious thing the Milwaukee Brewers did so far to us as a fan base in the last year? What do you feel?
Ooh. Well, I hated the hater trade, but I really hated the $6 coupon voucher thing. I think we're the Brewers are in this spot where, and I just talked to a guy about this on my podcast. They're in this spot where I know they're well intended, and I know they mean well, but it seems like everything they do backfires. Everything they do is just doesn't work out for them. I hated the hater trade, and I think a lot of people did. I mean, they've come out when you get the general manager and manager to both come out and say that was a mistake. That wasn't just a mistake. That was a wild mistake because they don't admit mistakes. They only admitted mistakes when it's you can't not. So but you could still argue. I can get if you want to do a debate club and argue the other side, there's a way to debate through it. Okay, whatever. The $6 voucher thing pissed me off so much because the Brewers were reacting towards a lot of negative publicity or attention on them. And then they promoted for a couple of weeks this massive announcement. And then they said it's our 1 billionth millionth fan or whatever, 100 millionth. But then they counted like Seattle. So they counted the Seattle year. So to me, it was like, there's backlash. We got to figure something out. Oh, our attendance is close to 100. Oh, we can add Seattle and get there. Okay. And then they're like, oh, shoot, now we need to do something with it. Well, let's give $6 seats. And then I just it's a good theory and principle, but it looked sloppy and cheap, especially when the price of a lot of stuff is double $6. So it just, they're not having a winter warm-up event. They're doing something at a bar, which I think will backfire too, because I think more people than what it can hold will want to come, and then you'll make more fans mad. Oh, and the fact that they haven't really done anything this offseason. So the answer to your question is everything.
You're running down basically everything I said. Like, okay, dugout 54, great plays, right? Dugout 54.
Yeah,
great plays, but God, is there no room in that place? There's nothing in there for this type of event. Like their little coups for kids. I don't know if you've ever been to that, but like that had no room, and that was at the Harley Davidson, like attached to the Harley Davidson place, and I thought that was packed too. So I think it's they're just failing on a lot of fronts right now, and it kind of feels very much like you said, like what the hell are you doing? Just reaction. Like, let's do something stupid, then let's make a reaction.
Well, they're well intended. This is a well intended, I think, organization, and what's happened is that their business model, or the model that they thought was successful, is now not getting the appreciation from fans. Like, they want to be contenders every year, which, there's sometimes where that's good, and there's sometimes where I'm still working on this very nuanced take where sometimes I think you need bad years as a fan. I mean, you may not want it, but sometimes you need a down year. You need a new chapter. You need new things to get excited about. You need, I saw Jon Stewart tweet about this. The Giants, he's a big Giants fan.
Mm-hmm.
He said, there's nothing more fun than an unexpected good year. And I think that there's something to that. If the Brewers come out, like this year, expectations are going to be down.
Yes.
And then if they come out and win 90 games, it's going to be a lot more fun than if they're expected to win 90 games and then only win like 87. It's just there's a fine line in there, but I think that for them to be, let's just be good enough to get in. And then we'll probably, like, the playoffs are very volatile anyway, but this team's still not built for even that. They're built to just win or lose every game 2-1. Oh, the Corbin Burns, now they're, I understand how arbitration works, but if you can figure out a deal with Woodruff, if you can figure out a deal with Burns, like let's do whatever it takes, because what Burns come in at arbitration for like 10.7, the Brewers wanted 10 point, a little bit of change. I would make sure I talk with Burns and be like, what's your number? We got to avoid arbitration. I'm not like the PR and the amount of people that'll make mad that even if the arbitration process is, they're just doing what they've always done, it's looking like you're being cheap on Burns, a guy who you're probably not going to be able to afford anyway. So just don't do that. There's just, it's like everything they think, it just goes the wrong way on them. And we all still love him. We're still going to show up. I've got a young son, and we went to one game last year, and every time we drive by, he wants to go again. So I'll probably end up going to more games than I did a year ago, just in that situation. We still want to go, and we still want to enjoy summer. Like, the Brewers have so many good things going for them. Sometimes there's not much else to do. You can sit outside. You can have a beer. There's food. It's nice. You can visit with friends. It's a really built-in good thing to do in the summer, and the Brewers are like getting in the way of that, and it's weird.
It's an inexpensive time. I mean, it's really. I made the wild claim. I said I'd pay $39 per ticket more if they could lock up Corbin Burns. You think about how much more revenue, how much more gate revenue. They crush over $1 million every year. I would pay it if we could guarantee that we get Corbin Burns for a long period of time. I think more fans would.
Yeah, I think we would all pay. I think we would all pay a little more.
Okay, maybe not $39 a ticket, because that would take like cheap tickets to really expensive. But
if you were able to guarantee that the Brewers were going to win the World Series this year, like we knew that, and then you said, all right, well, every ticket's no more than or no less than $50, I'd go to a bunch of games.
Yeah, I would too. And that's the thing. Now, you mentioned something when we talked about the Hader trade, and when we got William Contreras. You said this, and your take was fantastic. The William Contreras move does not make the Hader trade any better. And you iterated that, and I was like, I agree. That's like a separate thing, because you were in first place when you traded him. And then now it hasn't come full circle yet to me yet.
No, they're two different. Like,
great years, maybe, but
well, and that, I mean, like if Jordan Love wins the Packers a Super Bowl, that's awesome. It still doesn't make up for the fact that was a really bad pick. That was the wrong pick at the wrong time, and now he's sad for many years. They're separate things. I understand that you can do a path all the way back to J.J. Hardy and come up with Contreras, but they made a Hader trade. They made the Hader trade because they didn't want to have to pay him. They were thinking that, well, he's going to regress and we're going to get less from him in the offseason when everyone thinks we should trade him. So let's try to trade him now. They traded him to a contender, which actually took their spot in the postseason. Then he was, good again. They did, and then they trade him for guys like some we'll never see. One was gone the next day. They talked about how we were trying to match salaries. That's not. What are you doing? Why you're giving away the best player in this deal? Why are you trying to help then San Diego further? And so that closed the book on that terrible trade. It did not advance the Brewers. They were first place, and they traded one of their best players, and then they missed the playoffs. That's the story on that trade. They've dug themselves a very big hole with that trade.
Right.
Now, if Gasser and who's the other guy in there, whatever, if they like end up being very good, that helps, but it still cost you a season. We can say it still cost you a season. Now, when
Right.
you're trading Ruiz for Contreras, that's a separate thing that came up at a separate time. I don't think you can, I just don't think you can do that. It's fun to do the chart and say, well, this
Right.
happened
Yeah.
here.
It's fun to line everybody together, but at the end of the day, when you
But
make
the
a
Hader trade is, was, and always will be a bad trade. There's
Mhm.
no rewriting the history on that.
Right.
No
I
matter
agree
what
with
they
that.
get for the other pieces.
I think you and your just the way you deliver, and if you don't know Bart, guys, go over and watch his podcast. If you've never heard him on the radio, he has very poignant opinions. He hates Aaron Rodgers. God bless him for that. And no, and I mean that. Like, I mean, I agree with or disagree, but with your football take sometimes. But at the end of the day, you stick to your guns. You don't back down of what you say, and I think that's one of the best parts about your podcast and who you are as a broadcaster, because you'll stay with it. I mean, you were willing to eat a Brett Favre, I believe, starting lineup figure.
I feel like what I say when I have I just talk on my feelings, and I feel like if things, I don't do things for like, there's no point to it. I don't do things just to be like, well, this will be my take, and I tell you how I feel.
Right.
And then if that changes, it changes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm talking from my experience as a sports fan. I think one thing that, not to get down a rabbit hole, but one thing that the media scene in Wisconsin has is they have a lot of people that are either playing the part or really do not care. And like, to me, these teams are everything to me. The Bucks winning the championship was one of the great days of my life. The Brewers, I want them to be so good. The Brewers are like the son that you have that no matter what, he's just screw up, and you got to bail him out of jail every year, and he never learns his lesson. And the Packers, of course,
oh my God, that's so great.
Packers are love at first sight. So I love all these teams, and I think that's something that's missing around.
And part about doing this, and part about being on a podcast and on a microphone, is this is not a job per se. You don't sign up to sign on StreamYard and pay the money to, you're not making millions. You're not making hundreds of thousands. You're sometimes not making anything. And to put out opinions and to put your feelings on the air is what this is about. We could all read a script. There's a guy that, and God bless him, he does a job. I'm just gonna say he does a job. There's a guy called that does Lockdown podcasts. Nice guy, but it just feels like he's reading every day, and it doesn't feel very raw and emotional. And that's where I started doing this daily podcast, because I'm like, this is what this is about. It's raw takes, and sometimes our rawest takes are correct. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's just how you feel. And right now, I feel like the Brewers can't get anything right, and they keep getting in their own way, and it's really frustrating to, like, I don't know. I saw the arbitration numbers came out. It's like our Brewers and Tellez agreed on $4 million or something. I'm like, oh, Roddy Tellez, man. I'm not excited about the makeup of the team. Maybe when we get closer, I'll get more excited or find reasons to think, hey, they could be good or I'll talk myself into that like we always do. I'm enjoying the football season. I'm enjoying the basketball season. And I don't have, like some people do it. Some people, baseball is it for them. And I started out a baseball fan more than anything. That has waned a little bit over the years with how much I've really gotten into the NBA, and the NFL is just my world, my absolute world. I love this league so much, but I'm not like clamoring for baseball to come back. I'm sure.
And I don't know if that's the job that the Brewers do. If that's what they do to us, that they like, are they missing a window here with time to ramp up? Like, I was talking to Tim Dillard last Monday, and he was talking about how he wanted to do like filler content with like different brewers, and like his family lives like right by Brandon Woodruff, and he's buddies with Brandon Woodruff because he was a 16-year minor league vet. And like he could create internet content with Brandon Woodruff in the offseason, and that would give something a little bit more to talk about. You know what I mean? Like right now we're doing a pop-up with like 10 stars at a bar that can't hold the capacity for this type of event. I mean, it'll be great for the bar, but there is no ramp up or get people.
I wonder what would be worse for the Brewers if they don't fill up capacity, or if you like had, because the capacity I think for the event is 600. If you can't get 600 people there, that's pathetic. But if they get like 2,000 people and they have to turn away 1,400,
oh my god,
then you've just out of your way for no reason made 1,400 people mad. So I understand they must have felt there was a need to do something, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe 2023 is the year that they figure it out, but I don't know. I'm concerned for them.
They quick rent out the hey, we're moving this over to the Wisconsin Center now.
Yeah. Like, at least try to do it on a nice day where you can like close down a street or something just in case.
Right.
Brewers always seem to have like, they always present like one page of what should be a 3-page idea.
The header of our resume.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And it really does. Out of the 2023 squad that we have so far, do you have a favorite player? Is there a guy that you're like, ooh, I'm excited to go see him?
I'm still a Keston homer. I still want him to be good.
We paid him.
I don't know. Who do
hey,
I want to see the young guys come up. I want to see anybody young, anybody new.
Right, Garrett Mitchell.
Yeah, Garrett Mitchell raking in the 4 or 5 spot in the minor leagues, and he comes up here and he bats 9th on like a team that can't hit. Let him bat in the middle. He was like the best offensive producer at the end of the season.
Right. Put him up there. Just throw him up there. Why not? We did it with the pitchers. We did this with and that's the thing. They bought all into that pitcher movement with Burns, Woodruff, and Peralta. And then they like backed off on it once it came to like the outfielders.
Yeah. Because
every year we've signed a veteran guy that, well, pretty much stinks and it's like, yeah, I'll go to the Brewers for $15 million. You know, what the hell? Why not? Jackie Bradley Jr. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, okay, well, we've had this youth, we've had this movement. Now, that being said, we have to talk. I'm going to take us off Brewers for a minute. This is a Brewers related podcast, but we have to talk about something because I want your take. How do you feel about the Saudis being involved in the WWE?
Without like getting too
into it,
political or anything, I can tell you that when the Packers lost against the Lions, I was very sad because this season's over, and so you're sad.
Mm-hmm.
When the report came out that the Saudis had made the purchase already, I was very sad to the level of, oh, the Packers they lost, but they'll never play again. Like I was in mourning because then I think WWE would be over. It would still exist, and I guess I would still watch it, but it wouldn't. I don't understand why Vince McMahon. This is what I don't understand about old people that have money. Whatever the business. Like some of these people are like 80 years old that run the world, and they're still making moves that screw over so many people so that they can be a little more richer. But you're 80 and you have a lot of money. Just stop. Enjoy what you don't need more. You're going to die soon. Just enjoy what you have while you have it and pass on your legacy. And Vince, his legacy, he wants to be remembered for, he started this company with his dad, I guess, and then sold it for this much money and it'll never be topped. when you could just like give it to your kids. I mean, isn't that what people do when they have a business? Hand it down to your kids. I made this. You were there. You were my inspiration. Now it's yours if you want it. That's probably what the Brewers will do. Give it to. I mean, could you imagine? Like if Mark at Nazio was like, "Hey, I'm selling my team for $4 billion to the Saudis." Well, then we might win some World Series. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Never mind. We'd have money. Don't put that on me. I would bow. I would plead the fifth and never talk about him. I don't like it though. I mean, I like AEW. AEW, I like get kind of pretty into it, and then I'll buy pay-per-views, and then I don't like where it's going, and then I'll come back in. So I've been, but I like it. WWE, I feel like WWE. I feel like is my hometown team, and right. I don't want to see that happen.
Monkey, he's waving. He's saying hi.
Cowboy shirt.
Yep.
See, you pass it down to your kids.
Right, exactly.
We're all in on this. Saudis.
What are you doing? Oh, getting a cat. Okay.
Pat stopped for no time.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in here the whole time. He was just hanging out. Anyways, sorry about that. Yeah, I feel like, and I feel like that's like an ownership thing. Like a lot of people say like the Brewers are in a spot where they should sell, and I don't necessarily think that that's going to happen with Mark. I think his kid, I just saw his kid on Twitter the other day posted that.
Yeah, he's going to be more active, he said.
He wants to be more active. So is he like preparing to take the throne at this point or what?
Well, his job is director of fan engagement.
Is it really? Oh God. So he's going to daddy's giving him money for nothing. Then he stumbles on to guys like us that are negative about the team. And he's like, God. We'll just ignore that part of the internet. That's the dark web.
Yeah. No, the thing with the owner, and that's why you got to thank Bud, is because he didn't. It'd be very easy to come to Milwaukee and just pluck the team out and go somewhere else.
Right.
You get brand new, especially you get a brand new stadium. Not that there's anything wrong with ours, but you get a brand new state of the art. Move it to Vegas, pump in the money, move it to wherever. Money. So it's very easy to look at the Brewers, which sucks about sports here in this country, but we don't talk about it enough.
Right.
It's very easy for someone because this thing that we live and die for, it's very easy for someone to just swoop in and move it if they want. So right. Mark's kept it here, which, I don't know. I just want to win a World Series, man.
I know. I do too. I mean, I'd like to say that, and I feel that like maybe feeling like we're the underdogs is the best opportunity, because the years that like we've been the underdogs. Yeah, we made the Yelich and Kane move in 2018, and we got one game away from the World Series, but like it still felt like we were underdogs that whole time. Nobody was talking about us,
Yeah,
I'd like to correct. Do you come down Miller Park Way very often?
Yeah.
Do you ever look at the back of our stadium?
They put a new sign up.
It's rusty, man. Just slap some paint on that motherfucker.
I don't know. I don't know.
You think AmFam would have been like, oh, no, we got to paint this thing up, make it blue and yellow or whatever our color scheme is, but whatever. AmFam's slowly ruining our world. I've
got a lot of gripes about the Brewers, but the exterior of the stadium is not high on my list.
No, I know. Do you have any hot takes for the season, for the 2023 season?
Yeah, we should trade everybody.
Trade them all. Just start a rebuild, huh?
I'm not as into Willy Adames as everybody else is.
Interesting.
Like, he's good, but we treat this guy like he's Ozzie Smith. I guess if I was gonna buy my kid a jersey, who would I get it of? I can't get one of the pitchers. I could get Freddie, I guess, but I can't get Burns or Woody. They're gonna be gone.
Right.
I'm not getting Yelich. I get that, and so I think a lot of people are like, "Well, Willie's fun. He'll be here a while." Right.
That's true. That is very true.
I
I look at
think
the
my hot take is that Willie Adamas is the prettiest girl in a. There's not a lot of other options. That's what I'm saying. He's your favorite player because everybody else you wouldn't consider.
Do you think they retire Braun's number in this coming season? Do you think it should be retired?
I think it's. Thank you. I absolutely think it should be retired. The Brewers right now have a thing where they only retire you if you're in the Hall of Fame. But Jim Gantner's number's never been issued out.
Right.
Gator wore 71 because he wanted 17, and they said no, we don't give that number out.
So why don't they put that up there?
I don't know, because they have this dumb rule that
because he's from Fond du Lac. Is it Fond du Lac hate? Do they hate Fond du Lac?
Well, some baseball cards said Aiden. I threw those ones out. I only wanted the Gantner cards that said Fond du Lac on the back.
If you look at the walls of Miller Park, where they have like all the old timey players that were from Wisconsin, there's actually a guy from like the 50s that was from Fond du Lac. I can't remember his name now, but it's on there. I don't know why, or that's like a really obscure thing that I just referenced. I don't know why I was looking at that, but
I'll go look. It's not like I'm doing much these days.
Right. I mean, if you got some time, it's right in that entryway. You know what I'm talking about, the wall, all the names. And yeah, it's there. So, well, I will let you get to your Bucks show. I don't know what time it is. Can't see the time on your Bucks game, MLK Day. So you're covering the day game for the Bucks. If you haven't already, go watch Bart. Bart does a tremendous job, just giving his opinion, and he's got a cast and crew. I don't know. Have you started to pay these guys that just come on your streams, or they're just there for the good times?
There's some guys that I like the guys that were with me at the radio station. If I get like tips, I'll throw them the tips for coming on.
Sure, buy them lunch.
Yeah, but a lot of these people are coming on for their own insane reasons, which I appreciate so much. I can't do it without them.
It's a nutty crew, really. It's hilarious though. It's fun. It's a different atmosphere for a Wisconsin podcast. You know, you got a Bill Michaels, who you have your opinions about, but like it's just not. There's nobody really all that variety hour entertaining. I was gonna give you this compliment, and I don't know if I put it in the show on the last show that I was on, but I was gonna say you are a tank top and standing up away from being the Pat McAfee of Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's got a good work ethic.
That guy's a beast.
I know. Thanks for considering. I mean, that's nice to say. I should just start doing my show. I should just do that. I should just like do that and be just like, oh, I never heard of him. What do you mean? But then like totally copy him.
Yeah, right. Just do everything he does. The video game segment the other night with the CDB gummies was wildly entertaining.
Yeah, I was going through all my Sega games. I actually found a couple that I can sell.
I listened to it on audio first, and I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta watch this because this is just rabbit hole material at this juncture." So
the fun thing about my show too is you say that I have this crew. I got a lot of people that they just I put out the StreamYard link when I do lives on YouTube. I put out the StreamYard link on Twitter. Anyone can join, and then if you come up there, I put you in. I'm not vetting you. It's not like I have to know you. It's not. If you want to be on, you're on.
That's awesome, and that's really cool. Like this StreamYard way of doing this is actually really fun because it's like just put them in.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, I'm gonna wrap the recording real quick. So, guys, this has been Bart Winkler. Go check him out. He is hilarious in all things. Packers is really entertaining right now, and football, and some of his Bucks stuff. So go check him out. Bart Winkler Show on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. I'm sure it's there as well because he is with Blue Wire. So You guys have a great day. Thank you for watching, and go Brewers.
Go Brewers!
Thank you for watching the Miller Park Minute. Go Brewers!